Hi everyone, here's your intro to lab number 10, our chapter 11 lab. Chapter 11 is short, it's quick, we just spend one day on it, so you get your lab at the same time. Okay, this is called Fair Dice. You're going to want to be familiar with the chi-square goodness of fit test in order to perform this lab. So let's take a look. It says, in this lab, students will use the chi-square distribution to perform a hypothesis test on potentially loaded dice. You will play the role of a gaming investigator. By gaming, we're talking about casino-style gaming. So if you like playing with dice games, that sort of thing, then this lab is for you. I think it's a fun one. We're going to assume a chosen company, a dice manufacturer, is manufacturing fair dice, and we're going to apply a goodness of fit test. The test will see how closely the dice match fair expectations. Okay, in order to do this, we're going to need to roll an unknown die, unknown as far as fair or loaded, many times, hundreds of times, in fact. So we're going to do this virtually. StatCrunch has a really cool feature in the applets. So I'm going to switch over to StatCrunch right now. Just open up your StatCrunch and go to the blank spreadsheet. And if you head over to applets, you can then go down to games and then fair dice right there. And what you see, this little drop down, you've got several fictitious dice companies right there. So some of them manufacture fair dice, others do not. So I'm going to kind of walk through the steps. I like pips and dots. I'm going to pick pips and dots and go ahead and compute, and then we'll get this right here. Okay, let me go back to the lab. It says select one of the fictional dice companies. Which one did you pick? Okay. And then it says before you begin, choose a significance level. So again, 0.05 is kind of the go-to, but you might make it a little bit bigger if you want to make this a little bit easier to show enough evidence, or you might make your significance level a little bit smaller if you want to make it harder to show there's enough evidence. In any case, pick what seems good to you. And then we come down here to part C, and here's where we'll use the simulator. It says roll the die a total of 600 times. Okay, so back over here in StatCrunch, I'm going to pick 100 rolls. I'm rolling, it's like I'm rolling one die 100 times. And I'm going to click that until I get to 600. 600 rolls should give me plenty of data. And you see I've got the percentages for how many times a 1 was rolled, or a 2 or a 3, etc. Okay, so back over in the lab, we're going to fill out this table, but we're not going to fill it out with percentages. We're going to convert each percentage to the number of times that value was rolled. Okay, what does that mean? Well, here, so like in number 1, says that was rolled 15.7% of the time. And in fact, if I just leave my cursor over that, you see that little box pops up, says the frequency was 94. Okay, so actually that box is pretty nifty. That 1 was rolled 94 times, and I could just fill that in with 94. You could also say, hey, we rolled the die 600 times and it came out and it worked out as 15.7% of the time. We could figure it out that way as well, but it's kind of nice. It just shows me, and if I hover over the 2, that happened 99 times. So that's how I want to fill out my table right here. Okay. Below that, we've got another table. So what's up? This first table, this is our observed data from the experiment. Below is going to be our expected data. So we'll just have to think, well, if we roll a die 600 times, and assuming that it's a fair die, how many of each, face value would we expect? 600 times, and they're all equally likely, right? Because it's a fair die. Okay, so I'll let you guys figure that out. Now we get into the hypothesis test, so we'll write our null and alternative hypotheses. We'll calculate our test statistic using the chi-square style, right, with our observed and expected data. We'll calculate the p-value, use your chi-square calculator, then decide, of course, either to reject or fail to reject. And then we've got one more question, conclusion. Do you think this company is making fair dice? And that's it. Any questions, come by office hours. Good luck.